fatha de dana.
What does that mean?
Leprechaun.
There's been a lot of Leprechaun movies, all kind of in a very kind of particular style, very kind of comedy horror, and very over the top. This time as our reboot, we're really trying to do something that's quite grounded, darker, something that's a bit more dramatically kind of intense.
I'm kind of surprised at this one that we're taking as far a departure from the original series as we are. I'm glad that we are. I don't know if there's, if there's really room for more.
The other Leprechaun was such a fan favorite. I think fans are going to come into this not really knowing what to expect.
Everyone's going to relate to the old Leprechaun films. And as a reboot, they're going to think, okay, it's going to be like those. How are they going to make it different?
Come on, Leprechaun.
We're really showing where the origin of the mythology came from. So this isn't necessarily the leprechaun that you would see on the cereal box. It's more, what was the ancient creature thousands of years ago that in Ireland they started telling the story about that became the mythology that we know today.
Our job in makeup effects is often to be the hands and eyes of the mind of the director. We got to try to figure out through abstract terms what it is they see in their mind's eye. We brought him into full body casting and all that stuff and built it to fit him specifically. And we tested, range of movement and those sort of possibilities with Dylan.
And we all started working together to kind of figure out what we could actually build and what would look good on Dylan and all that kind of stuff.
To get Dylan in the suit, it takes us about 2 hours to get him hero ready, and it's a bit of a process. It all goes on in pieces.
The legs attach in a harness around the stomach and hip region.
And straps over his shoulders across your heart style.
My legs bend, and those feet and legs exactly bend how mine are, but they're so much longer. Then you have the chest piece, which goes on like an extremely tight sweater. Strap underneath that hooks on to itself.
We just slide in the hands, and he's got these braces on his forearms that he holds on to.
They gave me marbled contact lenses that go over my contacts so I can see. Wow. Last part is the head.
Let's do it, let's go crazy.
Push it down.
There we go.
Our Leprechaun film follows a group of 4 kids who are on a trip in Ireland, and they kind of find this village that's a bit off the beaten track that has some ancient, mysterious things about it.
There's a lot of things about our village that people don't know about. A lot of things that, we like to keep private.
I think a lot of us have thought about, it'd be so awesome to go traveling and go around the world, but what if something went wrong? And sometimes that can really kind of terrify you. The main character in our film is Sophie, and she's a girl who's, kind of putting other people ahead of herself. She's kind of in a relationship she might not need to be in for as long as she has, and she always puts everyone else's priorities first. And she kind of needs to learn to kind of take charge and kind of become her own woman, which eventually she does with an axe covered in blood.
We've got to keep going back to the cabin.
What? Why?
Because we're going to kill it.
Sophie's boyfriend is Ben, and he's supportive, but he kind of always puts himself first.
Sophie, hurry!
Why didn't you come back? When I fell, why didn't you come back for me?
Jen is a character who really loves kind of the darker side of life. She loves horror films. She loves kind of creepy things. But then as stuff starts to get really real and isn't just like the fictional books that she reads, she starts to just freak out. And things get pretty bloody and horrible for her as things go on. David is a great character because at the top of the movie, he's just wants to have fun. He's just kind of keeping everyone going. He's a great peacemaker between the whole group. But then certain things start to happen to him and his trip becomes really not fun at all. Dylan was perfect for this role because he's done so much of his wrestling work non-verbally. He's done so much expressing with just his eyes and kind of communicating, and that's exactly what our Leprechaun does as well.
I think my feelings and my body language come out through the suit. It made it more of a challenge for me to have to portray words and feelings and emotions and actions with just my body.
lot of what this film explores is loyalty. The loyalty you have to your friends, to your loved ones, to your family.
Are they going to save themselves? Are they going to be loyal to, their friends? Or, what are they going to do when their life's on the line?
Loyalty of Sophie to Ben, loyalty of Jennifer and David together, and also Sophie's loyalty to herself that she's going to make it through.
I would love for this film to be remembered in a way where people think of it as something that kept them guessing.
I think this movie has a definite message of if there is an evil leprechaun living outside your town and he wants golden blood, give him that or you're probably going to die.
They locked us in there so that thing would kill us.
It's coming!
When you're doing a horror movie, you kind of want to have the epic deaths. You want to have the cool effects and stuff.
It's locked.
They have a lot of blood in the makeup trailer, and they have a lot of blood for the dummies and the special effects. I don't know the exact amount, but I'm sure it's a lot.
Unfortunately, Jennifer in this film has a gold tongue ring, which is probably the worst thing to bring into ancient Ireland when you're going to be looking at man-eating leprechauns.
To rip Jenny's tongue ring out, we've got a silicone tongue. It's made out of medical-grade silicone with a little nylon extension off of it that's mounted onto a bite plate. So it really kind of locks in solid around her molars. And we can really yank against it. And a blood chamber inside there that's further pressurized by her tongue pushing into it. And it'll be pre-scored and then tacked back together, so it'll break along that line. Going for the gold. Watch out for those piercings, kids. Yeah.
And action! In the film, Ben dies horribly as the leprechaun grabs him from below and pulls him down, and just like in Psycho, reaches up his arm and plunges down, grabbing his spine and slowly ripping it out of his body.
It was funny. It's one of those gags. It starts out, it sounds really simple, and then we built about 5 other parts for it this morning.
We've created this spine that's got all the ribs kind of stuck out in this jagged sort of bizarre pattern where they've torn out of the back. And that's just strapped onto the actor. So you can basically lift up the actor from that. It's got this trip release that holds his shoulders. And then when you fire the release and crane it back, the actor drops, but he hides all of this with his head in frame. He hides all of the spine action. So it's a real creative way to deal with that and give a real visceral death.
And it went pretty good, I think. Everybody was pretty happy. The effects guys were pretty stoked on what happened. So I think it was a good take.
The most juicy gag we've got really is Jenny, the head axing.
Today we shot the axe in the face gag, which is one of our main kind of gore things in the film, and one of the more dramatic beats of the film where they accidentally kill their best friend. And kind of a technical thing where we have to merge our actress with a dummy, where we shoot her coming in, we shoot the dummy coming in, we shoot her screaming, we shoot the dummy getting its head bashed in with an axe, and then through the magic of visual effects we kind of put it all together.
What we've done is we built a chamber inside the head, and we insert a balloon with it's attached to a little check valve, and we can stick it inside the head, and then we just fill it up with blood, so it fills up inside the head until it's completely maxed out on PSI.
So we only really had one take to bash in her head, and so JP, who's our head kind of coordinator for the makeup effects, he's got a good swing. He had his gloves on and everything, and he practiced. He never, on his practice swings, didn't crack the head, which was very good, and he nailed it on his first try, which is good because we didn't have time to go twice.
Nice. Wow. I got to do the honors for swinging the axe in that gag, due to the fact that I'm left-handed, and so was the actress. So I would say it was nothing but skill, but it could have gone either way. You know, I was practicing a couple nights before, and I had, 3 to 6 inches variance, which is, kind of dicey when you're trying to hit it right between the eyes, and so we got on the first take. So I think, the gods of gore were on my side on that one.
Well, I know that's not how I'd want to die, but who knows, actually, that's kind of quick, so to the point.